Hello and welcome back to the Flexline Media coverage of the 2021 Christchurch League Women's Final. We're about to see the final 9 holes of what's been an exciting league season. My name is Stephanie Strydom and I'm joined by Jamie Thomson.
Kia ora, Steph, how are you? It's good to be back to see how this all shapes up and how this finishes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight one. Only one stroke separating myself and Eilish, and Rebecca's not far behind either. Lauren trailing a little bit, but hopefully she can pick it back up in this last 9.
Yeah, we saw Lode have a little bit of a uphill battle, so to speak, in that front 9. It was very up and down, and not quite what we normally see from Lode.
Yeah, well, there's lots she can do to improve in this back 9. I find it's a little bit more right-hand friendly. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree. I think there's definitely, most of the left-hand holes are in that front 9. So hole 10 here, it's a nice straight drive, but you've got those 2 trees in the middle. With a Mando, the second tree, you may see it shortly, just to the right. This is actually a new hole for the 2021 season. Previous years, Jelly Park, the swimming centre, was under construction and they were redoing it, so we couldn't actually play this hole.
Yeah, so this is my first league, obviously playing this hole, and I didn't even get a chance to play it before we started playing the league rounds. So I'm still figuring it out. My drive hit the trees, the guardian trees. Eilish has turned hers over a wee bit too much.
And we see her just go to the right of that tree that I was talking about before, that out of bounds tree.
Yeah, quite unfortunate for her. She'll be playing from the drop zone. And Rebecca's also turned hers a bit, but she's definitely made it through the Mando.
Yeah, it was a good looking shot. I actually prefer to be down there because we see this tree right beside the basket there. There's a nice gap in between it, and it's quite picturesque trying to putt through it.
Oh, and a great shot from Lauren. She's basically parked it.
Yeah, and we see Eilish there shooting up from the drop zone after missing the Mando. And there's that tree I was talking about. Look how beautiful that looks. Bex
is not having a bar of it.
No.
That basket is really treacherous. If you don't get it in and you hit the rim, you're rolling.
So that's good self-control. Me, I would have tried to go right through that tree no matter what. And that's a beautiful upshot there to make par nice and easy for yourself. And there we go. Birdie to start the back 9.
Great way to start it off. And Eilish is just going to be tapping out nice and easy.
Yeah, unfortunately missing that Mando means she's tapping out for bogey. So if you're able to make this 30 centimetre putt, I think that's a 2-shot lead.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it at that stage. I was so focused on just playing my game, getting my pars and moving on that I had no idea how many strokes were separating any of us.
Wow.
I just knew it was close.
It was close all throughout the day. Hole 11. Now there's multiple options for this hole. There's an extreme right hyzer line. There's a nice straightish sort of with a little bit of a fade out line to the right of the tree that we see the camera going down, and then left of that tree is generally the most preferred line that we see most players take.
Yep.
You being a left-hander, I'm assuming you're going that left line?
Yes, I'm going the left line, and Loren's just hit a tree. And
I don't think that made it back.
Okay. What a crushing shot after her great birdie that's just brought her back in.
It's the second or third time, I think, during this round that she's kissed a tree and it's either gone one way or another.
Not had much love.
And that is a beautiful drive. What did you throw there?
That is my red bolt.
Why do I even need to ask that question? I feel like that's the answer every time.
Hold on, Jamie, look at this.
What is...
We've got our first follow flight from Flexline Media.
That is incredible. We definitely need to see more of that in upcoming videos.
Yeah, I'm feeling very honoured right now.
You were the first.
I was the first.
That's fantastic. Now when it becomes the norm, you can say, I was the first.
And Beck's getting most of the way down there, just clipping a tree, and she'll be right around that Christmas tree. And
ooh, that's a fun wee roll. That's going from one end of the fairway to the other.
Yeah, Eilish just hitting the ground in an angle, and she's got so much speed. so much power on that disc that it just takes off.
And then low, taking her shot. That there was trying to save her par, unfortunately hitting the OB and not coming back in.
But that was a great upshot, and she'll be able to tap in for her bogey.
Oh, unfortunately a little bit too long holding on to that one for Bex and hitting that tree there. Thankfully it didn't roll too far away.
Yeah.
Should be fairly savable.
Oh, really nasty roll for Eilish.
Is that the boomerang that I've heard about? Okay. Oh, that is a great run. Great run. A little bit too many wheat picks in that morning, I'd imagine. Throwing it a bit hard there. I find Bex's putting style very unique. Most people like that loft and a little bit higher, but she just skims it across the basket.
Yeah, it's definitely a spin putt with a little bit of hyzer. And I think it looks different depending on who's doing it. I mean, everybody's style is different. But her way of doing it, you can still see the basic mechanics of a spin putt. You know, she's reaching into her stomach and pushing forward straight. But it just doesn't look the same as when anybody else does it. And I think that's great. I love it when players have a unique style.
Yeah, their own
it just
signature.
makes it so interesting. You're not copying someone else's game. You're playing your best game.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to hole 12 now. This is my favourite hole. I know I may have said I've had another favourite hole before, but this is definitely my favourite hole. Across that pond, sit it up there on the hill. Very, very nice. You've got the fence in the background too to generally save you.
Generally to save you. You'll have a death putt if you do land up going all the way to the fence. I've thrown it a little bit low, so I've caught up in all those little bushes that are just below the basket. See what Bex can do.
That is perfect. Like,
great shot. Really
without getting it
shot.
in, can you do any better than that?
No, not really.
And I think Flexline agree, hence the slow motion replay.
Great slow-mo.
And again, look at that water.
She's just hitting the bank of the hill and letting it slide up. That's exactly what you want to do. You don't want to come in full tilt in the air. You want to hit the bank and slide up to the basket.
Yeah, you run the risk if you do hit the top of the bank, it's sliding underneath that fence. And then low, opting for a bit of a hyzer shot, nice and wide, bringing it in. Give her a look for a birdie.
Yeah. Eilish a little bit wider. I think her disc flattened out a little bit too much. She might have wanted some hyzer on that, but she's on the hillside and we'll see what she has to play with.
I must say, the gallery that showed up for the day was absolutely fantastic to see.
It was really great to see so many people coming along to watch, although nerve-wracking.
And that, nice upshot.
Yeah.
Easy par.
And Lorraine, this hill is really difficult to putt from, and she's got the bushes to contend with as well. You can't see it on the camera, but it's really hard to keep your footing, and you really need to. Oh,
sorry.
No, that's all right. You really need to get your how do I say it? You need to put your weight forward to get your putt up the hill, and with that slippery incline, it's really hard to get sure enough footing to do that.
And it doesn't help that the bushes are tripping you over. Oh, and that actually goes against what I said before about Bex's putt being nice and low, skimming across, that hit the top. Just had to prove me wrong.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but it is quite a scary putt. I've got to say, it's not an easy one to make. You know, if you don't make it, you're sailing right back down the hill, and you're definitely not making the comeback after that.
Yes, if you're very unfortunate, you'll be in that pond.
Exactly. All right, Mando hole number 13. It's only 54 meters, par 3, but you have this tricky Mando tree on the right that trips up a lot of players. Probably for most players one of the hardest holes, I think, to make the Mando. What do you think?
Yeah, I always struggle with this to the point where I've actually adopted a makeshift forehand, is the best way to describe it. So more confident in that than I am in my backhand.
Wow. Yeah, I think it plays slightly easier for me as a left-hand player than it does for the righties, but it looks like we're all having a bit of trouble with it.
Yes. Yep.
See what Low can do. See, Low's also gone to the forehand, so it's definitely the preferable play.
I wonder if she was trying to get a roll on that one.
No, I think just a little bit too much Anheuser on that forehand. I know myself, when I try to forehand through a narrow gap, all sorts of strange things can happen.
Bit of grip lock there by Eilish. Now, from memory, I think there's 4 Mandos throughout the course, all 18 holes, and I feel like Eilish has missed every single one bar 7.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So that's impressive in its own.
That is impressive, but did you just see her shot from the drop zone? Clipped a tree and still landed, I think, just outside the circle.
We're definitely seeing a lot of tree love in today's game.
Yeah. And me with another turnover shot with a weird stance with my disc stuck behind a tree, but I think I'll at least have a look at the basket from there.
I suppose when there's nothing else, that's all you can really hope for, is to get out of trouble and have a look.
Exactly. Not hit another tree. That's the goal.
Yeah, and then Low, nice wee safe upshot right under the basket.
Beeks is between the 2 trees. She's got to get it out. And that's a great upshot from there.
Brilliant. So looking at the scores here, we're a little way through. 3 holes into the back 9, and you're still stretching out that lead.
Yeah, it's like I said, had no idea. I was just trying very hard to keep playing par.
And Eilish saving her bogey. What a great shot. But
That was a good putt.
I've been too busy looking at your score, seeing as though you're in that lead, that Bex and Eilish have actually crept up neck and neck, and now they're tied.
Yep. And that's tied for second. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see who pulls ahead.
And then, yeah, Bex with her par, both on 7 over, heading into hole 14. Now, hole 14, this is a very right-hander friendly hole. How do you approach this?
Hole 14 is the hardest hole for me on the Jelly Park League course. Literally, even though it's only 64 metres, par 3, it's the hardest one. I try to throw something dead straight and low, slide it up along the gravel towards the basket. This is not straight and not low.
It's on the gravel.
It's on the gravel. Thankfully, it kicked out from where it hit the trees, so I'll still be able to see the basket from there.
It doesn't help that hole 14 is probably the tightest hole when it comes to the OBs. You've got the one up going up the path, you've got the road, you've got all around the basket, as you can see, that wire fence there with that cracking drive by Bex. It is very, very hard to get it on that green.
It is hard with the OB, but I still feel like it's harder for me. Oh, and Lorraine just sneaking out into that OB.
It was a good line, it just skidded a little bit too much.
Yeah, it just went a little bit too far straight instead of skipping in with the fade.
And Eilish there, nice drive, she's in the open, got a look to get her birdie. Downside there is it's about 5 metres behind the basket is where you'll fall into OB.
Exactly.
Look at that gallery. It's just spectacular.
And I'm hitting a tree. My goal was not to hit a tree, but this is disc golf.
Yes, you got a little bit of tree love the first time, kicking it out.
Exactly.
That one there, not so much.
Not so much. And Eilish just barely stays safe, but she's safe. It's good.
Now, putting on shingle, you can see your back foot slipping a little bit there.
Yeah, it's not very comfortable, and I still have the OB to contend with, but luckily I stay in, so I will have to settle for the bogey.
And then Low taking hers from where it last entered and hitting chains, spitting out. Won't be too happy with that, seeing as on how well she started the back 9.
No, it's unfortunate. But again, that's just disc golf.
That's
You
why
get
we
some
love
good
it.
kicks and you get some bad kicks, and that's just how it
And
goes.
speaking of good kicks, what a putt. Nice. The birdie dance. Definitely happy with that one. And then Eilish going in for a par. So we've just seen a bit of a change in second place there, with
Yeah.
Bex taking over. And then Low putting out with bogey. And then yourself. That was
Yeah. In the bogey
a
as
punishing
well.
hole for yourself and Low there.
Yes. For only, what did I say, 64 metres?
Yeah.
That's It's a bit rough.
Now this one's 80 and just as rough. The fairway kind of narrows down at the end there. You've got the OB on the left with the road and anything over it. You've got the trees on the right. You've got a giant tree in the middle with the needle that some people like to try and feed it through.
Some very interesting people. I actually really like this hole. It's super challenging with the narrowing fairway leading to the basket. But when you hit that perfect line, it's just so satisfying. It's not too long, it's not too short. It's just seems like a really good distance.
Yeah, feels like we're in a Goldilocks and the Three Bears story.
Well, Eilish is hitting that tree, and let's see.
So being left-hander, nice wide line out towards the road and coming in nicely. Whereas a bit more dangerous with the righties.
Exactly. They've got all those trees to contend with, plus the OB. All I have to worry about is making sure my disc fades back in.
Yeah, and then low, nice wee kick off the tree, giving her a little bit of tree love.
And this upshot is so scary with that OB right behind. But Low keeps it in. She'll have the putt.
And then Eilish using her roach to approach. That rhyme was accidental, but I'll claim it.
And I see the ladies are leaving it a little bit short, but again, that's because of that OB behind. It's much easier to leave it just a little bit shorter than to go long and end up taking that extra stroke.
Yeah, playing it safe. It's very smart golf.
All right, the big putt. I always want this one really bad. I love taking the birdie on this hole. It's really rewarding. And just a little bit too much juice on it.
Unfortunately, you'll have to wait till the next game.
Yeah.
And then Low just fading out. Her putting just doesn't seem to be on form. It's letting it go with that hyzer rather than flat like she normally does. And fading out too early.
Oh, and Eilish also, unfortunately, just a little wide and chains don't catch it for her. So that'll be a bogey for Eilish.
Bex with the
in
par.
and safe with the par.
Stretching her second place now into by 2 shots.
Oh wow!
Clear of Eilish. And then Low. It's been a rough day for Low.
Yeah, and I think when your putts aren't going in, it's easy to lose your confidence, and then when you don't have confidence in your putt, you do see a lot more hyzer. It's like you're not following through, you're not pushing it, you're not, confident that it's going to get to the basket, and that can easily be what's happening there.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to hole 16, the only par 4 in the league course. This year it's been moved out so that way it's a bit more stable footing by throwing off the road rather than in that grassy field to the right there.
I like this change.
Did she just make that needle? Is that what I saw?
Oh wow.
I reckon that needs bonus points or something, some form of glorification for going through that needle.
Yeah, I can tell you I won't be trying that anytime soon.
That is a really nice line. Nice and low, skimming across the ground.
Yeah, I can take something that I know is going to fade out, keep it to the left and let it fade back into the fairway. Eilish. Oh.
Just narrowly missing that tree.
Oh, and there she gets the kick, but she's right in the middle of the fairway. That's some tree love, if you ask me.
I hope she gives that tree a big hug for helping her out there. And then low, straight down the centre.
Yep, knows her game, knows what to do. She's just going to put it right there.
Great way to bounce back after the last hole.
This second shot, I think, is harder than the first one. It feels like the trees come into play a lot more. Depending on your distance, you're actually going for the green. So it's not easy to make it through that field of trees. And we see, was that Beck's shot there? That was great. She's out in the open. She'll be able to approach, no problem. Eilish has got to get through all those trees. And
lucky it caught on that grass.
Very, very fortunate. She won't have an OB stroke added to that. She stayed safe.
So that road cutting through the fairway there with the wire either side, you want to make sure you're on the grass either side of that road there. Now this is your second shot.
Yeah, so I'm going for the green and unfortunately just a little bit wide and catch that tree. But it's okay. I don't have any trees between me and the basket now, so I can just approach.
And what are you throwing here?
This is my rat. It's a fairly new disc in my bag, but I absolutely love it. It is so malleable. You can shape it to whatever shot you want, and it also has a predictable fade to it, which is great. And that is also a rat that Lorraine just threw.
Wow, I'd hate to say it, but based on that throw, I think she did it better.
I'll give that to her.
And then looks like Bex hit that wire as well. So
Yeah, just barely creeping over inbounds.
And Eilish over the other side of the road.
But great upshot. She can just tap it out.
Easy. Nice par.
This downhill putt's not easy. I don't know. Do you prefer downhill putts or uphill putts?
Ooh, I would say uphill.
Yeah, I
I
prefer
like making
uphill
it
as
downhill
well.
better. But yeah, uphill just feel a little bit more confident.
You know your disc's not going to go sailing past the basket all the way down the hill.
Yeah, or catch the side and keep rolling that way.
Exactly.
Now that was a great putt.
That felt good. It was a good one to make. I was really upset about hitting that tree earlier, so I'm really happy to save the par.
I think it was just outside the circle too, which was a good save.
And Lorraine also making par, which is good on this hole actually. There's a lot of trouble you can get into and your score really multiplies fast.
And now we see another par by Eilish, and unfortunately breaking the chain, breaking the rhythm. Bex having her first bogey on the back nine, which the back nine's not easy.
No, it's not easy. It brings her within a stroke of Eilish. There's only one stroke separating them now.
It's going to make it very interesting. Now, we're looking at hole 17. Again, this is another new hole for the 2021 season. We had to move the tee pad over a little bit closer to the road. I prefer where it is now. It opens up two different lines. You've got one that favours yourself, as you see there, skidding around by the basket with the left line, and then you've got a nice wee tunnel for the right.
Yeah, since it's cleared out there, that tunnel is a great option for the righties. See, Eilish throwing forehand, which is...
Forehand skidded along the road and came in bounds.
And
that
it came back in bounds. I don't
fortunate.
know if you can see that on the camera, but that was pretty lucky.
And then Lowe opting for that right line and absolutely crushing it.
That is not an easy line to take. You've got to manage your height so well to hit that line. And she just makes it look easy.
And not only that, the power, I mean, it's just skimming across that bollard there. You've got the power with the creek just behind the basket there to contend with. If you go too long, it just skids away. That was picturesque.
Yep.
And Bex, I wonder what she's going to do. Looks like she's shaping up for that tunnel as well.
Yep. Just a little bit higher than Lorraine in this. But she's made it all the way through.
Made it best time of the year when the leaves are a little bit lighter, the tree's not so heavy, you can power your way through.
Eilish having made it across, it's quite a long putt and she's got it nice and close.
Doesn't help that it's downhill either.
No, I wouldn't be running that.
And then, hitting the top of the cage.
Luckily it doesn't roll too far, so she should be alright to get it back.
Okay, now you for your birdie opportunity.
Oh.
Nice wide stance and sinks it.
Yeah,
Do you prefer a straddle?
I'm not a fan of the straddle. I do it if I have to, if there's something in my way, but it takes a little bit of that confidence away. So I was really happy to hit that one.
See, if you hadn't said that, nobody would have known. Now we've got Bex closing out the hole. And that is an interesting putt. It was for par. Bex picking up another bogey, meaning one hole. If Eilish makes this, scores will be tied.
Oh, it's making it tight.
This is an exciting race for second place. I think you would really have to have a mare on the last hole. But hey, this
Hey,
is golf.
you never know. This hole has not been kind to me as a left-hand player. This is hole 18. It's a par 3, 51 metres. Now, for the righties, it's pretty simple, I think.
Yeah, I
Put
tend
your
to
mid-range or a putter even. The nerves.
The
Even
nerves.
though it's the last hole, I'm pretty sure the nerves are getting to a few of us.
And what are you driving with there?
So this is my Leopard, G-Star Leopard. It's really understable and it doesn't usually skip out that far.
Understable. That was a great line.
Yeah.
Pin height, almost there. And now low.
Oh, Lorraine, this is picture perfect. She
Wow.
absolutely parks it.
Wow.
You can't do much better than that.
No, you can't. And hey, Flexline agree. Even with the flight tracker, it's 2 now.
I'm loving this new feature.
It's amazing.
I can't wait to see more of it.
Love that little wee bounce as her disc hit the ground and
Yeah.
carried on. Now Eilish, nice straight. Just really didn't do too much there.
Yeah, just kept it straight, kept it low.
I think that's her Star Marco 3, that one.
What Rebecca can do.
And Beck's following suit, a little bit out
Ooh,
further.
just a
I wonder
little
if
bit
these
longer.
two knew how close it actually was coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely wasn't discussed on the card, but
I mean,
if Bex makes this putt, it's gonna add so much pressure to Eilish to make hers,
oh.
and she can.
And look at that excitement, that energy, just absolutely phenomenal.
That's just great. You can't help but smile.
Yeah, the concentration, the breathing, just going through the motions, and then letting it go. She knew she had it. Spectacular. Now, Eilish, I don't know whether Eilish is feeling the pressure, seeing as though they don't actually know how close those scores are, but it does make for an interesting story. Everything riding on this one putt.
Yeah, and it's not an easy one,
Oh, she made it look
but
easy.
Eilish makes it look easy,
Wow.
and that keeps them tied.
Tied for second place after 36 holes. Just absolutely incredible. And then you continuing the birdie run?
Oh, I'm trying,
No.
but unfortunately, just a little bit wide, and it doesn't catch for me.
You can tell it's coming near the end. You're like, oh, well, carry
Yeah.
on. And then low, easy birdie. So that would have been a par frame if somebody had made a putt.
Star frame, yeah.
Star frame.
It
Oh,
would have
yeah,
been a
star frame.
star frame. Oh, wow.
Your 2021 Women's League Champion!
Well, congratulations, Steph. It's 2 years in a row. Can anybody knock you off?
I want to say a really, really, really big thank you to all the ladies that joined in and played the league this year. Hopefully they've all learned that it's not as scary as they think, and they'll be back next year to play again and bring all their friends along. And a really big thank you to Jamie for all the time and effort he puts into it.
Yeah, so congratulations again. Absolutely incredible day. It was amazing to be a part of it. Final scores there, we see yourself on top, 2 over, 4 shots ahead of second place Bex. Now, we saw that Bex and Eilish were actually tied. We played a sudden death 2-hole, it went down to 2 holes, where Bex absolutely ripped hole 2, parked it up, and managed to sneak runner-up for 2021. So I would like to issue a challenge to all you ladies out there. Who is it that will be able to take Stephanie off the top of the mountain and claim 2022's Women's League Championship? You happy for me to issue that challenge, Steph?
Definitely. I can't wait to see what next year brings, and hopefully it brings lots of ladies to play with.
Well, that's it for the 2021 Women's League Final. A huge thank you to you, Steph, for coming along and joining me on commentary tonight. And thank you everybody for watching. We look forward to seeing you here in 2022. Mā te wā.